I call Kirsty McNeill to make her maiden speech.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And can I start by congratulating the members for Ealing, Southall, for Doncaster East, for Kensington and Bayswater, for Bristol Central and for Tewkesbury for their maiden speeches, and say what an honour it was to be in this chamber hearing from our new Defence Secretary, but also the Honourable Member for Sutton Coldfield, who I've worked with on the cause of internationalism for many years. And I'm conscious, Mr Deputy Speaker, of the honour and the privilege that being a Member of Parliament represents. Recent events in the United States of America remind us that we must never let violence or the threat of it undermine our politics, and that I speak today in a chamber bearing the coats of arms of Sir David Amess and our beloved friend Jo Cox is a reminder of the nobility and fragility of our democracy. And I will always endeavour to fulfil my duties with the same open heart that they both displayed. Honourable members will know that I have many distinguished predecessors as Midlothian's representative, not least William York Gladstone. His Midlothian campaign is remembered, of course, as the first truly modern political campaign, and I hope we continued that tradition somewhat in recent weeks, although I don't think any of the Midlothian candidates could claim to have inspired the same hysteria at our public meetings, with people having to be passed over the heads of the crowd when fainting as if dead. But the Midlothian campaign is also remembered as a moment where choices were made about the obligations of international solidarity. In Pennycook, we have a memorial to the prisoners of war who died there during the Napoleonic Wars, bearing the inscription, "All men are brethren," something I hope we can hold on to as we seek to have the UK be a force for good in the world. Mr Deputy Speaker, it was only 2 weeks ago today that I was elected Member of Parliament for Midlothian. In that time, I have had cause to reflect deeply on the spirit of public service which animates the staff at Midlothian Council, who administered our election, the officials at the Scotland Office, where I am now privileged to serve, and the parliamentary staff who have welcomed us with such professionalism. And it was that spirit too which called my predecessor Owen Thompson to public life, first as a Midlothian councillor and then as our Member of Parliament, and latterly as a Privy Councillor serving the whole nation. His support for constituents and our many wonderful community groups will never be forgotten, and I sincerely hope I can be of assistance as he continues his work advocating for veterans and for miners. And it is impossible, of course, to be the Member of Parliament for Midlothian and fail to remind the House of that proud mining heritage. I hope fellow trade unionists in this House will watch the inspiring footage of civil rights hero and actor Paul Robeson visiting Midlothian and singing Joe Hill for our miners. I hope too to welcome many fellow members to Midlothian to visit our many mining memorials, including the newest one in Dalkeith, bearing the unforgettable description, "They spent their lives in the dark so that others might have light." Mine workers from Midlothian and across our coalfields powered this country, and I'm delighted that our Labour manifesto committed to ending the injustice of the mine workers' pension scheme and to improper investigation of events at Orgrave. Some months ago, I hosted an event in Midlothian and I asked participants to say what had inspired their activism. One man, Bill, said he was there because when he was growing up in Newton Grange, they had a mine, and now they have a mining museum. That was said in a spirit of reflection, but not nostalgia, because people in Midlothian are looking to the future, seeking the industries and sectors which can play the same role in progress in the next century that mining played in the last. In particular, let me commend all the world-leading scientists working in Midlothian at the Roslin Institute and associated organisations. I'm sure that they would also acknowledge that whatever their individual brilliance, none of them would be where they are without the science teachers whose inspiration first lit a spark in young minds. We are all of us products of the investments made in us as children. And it is to Midlothian's children and young people that I want to make my most solemn undertakings. If you have disabilities or additional needs, you are among my most precious constituents. If you are care experienced, you will always have a friend and a champion in me. And if you find that your life chances are diminished by poverty or discrimination, then it is by my contribution to helping you realise your limitless potential that I wish my time as your MP to be judged. As colleagues may know, I have spent much of my time working with and advocating for children. In that capacity, I would often say good and bad childhoods follow people around forever. The reason I know this to be true is because my mother's own experiences of the care system, something that inspired her adult commitment to the Children's Panel and fierce advocacy for families in crisis. She taught me so much about fighting for fairness. More than anything, however, both she and my father taught me about disagreeing well. While we have been on different sides of the constitutional divide, our family, I humbly suggest, holds something of a lesson for Scotland as a whole. It is possible, indeed, it is necessary, to approach disagreement with a spirit of curiosity and care. The birthplace of the Enlightenment deserves nothing less.
Yeah.